and welcome to No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast. I'm April Atmansky, and I'm here today with...
I'm Justin DeClue, and I'm ready to laugh.
I'm Colin Cunningham. Oh man, I can't
you're all
laugh.
laughed out.
I can't laugh anymore.
Yeah.
I've laughed so much. The noise won't even come out.
I know that April picked this one, but I feel bad harping on it because I remember at the time Harold Ramis was very hurt by the release or the reaction to this film.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, let's maybe we can
maybe we'll bring it back up.
rediscover it. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
okay. So the year is 2009.
Wow.
We're
The year is one.
We're coming towards either the middle or the we're getting towards the end of the Apatow era. I mean, there were still.
Have we ever
movies-
escaped?
Yeah, I mean, it's over. We're not doing big movies where people are riffing for 2 hours anymore.
Man, what is your relationship with Apatow? Because I remember being a fan back when they released like DVDs of Freaks and Geeks and Undeclared, his college show starring Canada's Own.
I like that too.
And
Did he do Your Highness as well?
He was.
He was a producer.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's definitely within that Apatow kind of family. And then when he started making movies, just like, 40-year-old virgin, this rules. And then the monkey paw curls, and it's like, now you only get movies like this.
Yeah, and I mean, so for the first half of the Apatow era, I loved pretty much all of them.
Yeah, like Superbad.
I loved Superbad. I loved
40-Year-Old Virgin.
What's that Jason Segel thing? Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a fun one.
Like
with a completely unblemished cast.
Yeah,
They are not
I mean,
cursed beyond
and
belief.
even like I Love You Man, and so again, I think these were the.
I believe I Love You Man, bootleg Judd Apatow film.
Yeah.
It's just within that mold. Looks like it. I don't think he was involved.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Isn't that
and
Jason Segel and Paul Rudd?
Yeah,
Yep.
and also I did watch a little bit of Freaks and Geeks when it first aired. My dad, I remember, really liked it because he was like, "Wow, there's nothing like this on TV," and there kind of wasn't, and was kind of that's why it failed. And then later, I think I did it on DVD, and I liked Undeclared better actually than Freaks and Geeks personally, but I liked them. I thought they were both
I
good.
mean, you're a big Jay Baruchel fan, so you're
I
right.
kind of am.
I know.
But
Popular Mechanics for kids.
exactly, right? But yeah, I mean, it was the beginning of Seth Rogen becoming a big star, and we thought it was hilarious. Like, Knocked Up, me and my friends watched that endlessly, like constantly.
How does it go? Do you know how I know you're gay? It's like, oh no.
That was
We're in a very particular point of time.
No, that was 40-Year-Old Virgin.
No, that was it? No, I thought.
Yes, it was.
It was? Okay, because they're playing video games. Right?
Yeah, that was 40-Year-Old Virgin. But
Was it? Was Paul Rudd in that?
Yes. They're all in all of
I thought it was
these.
Knocked Up.
He's in that too.
Oh.
They're all
No,
in
it is
all
Knocked
of
Up.
them.
I'm
It is
looking
Knocked
here.
Up.
No,
Yeah,
it's
it is
not.
Knocked Up.
Well,
Yes.
okay.
Because-
okay, guys.
Oh no, you're right.
They do the joke
April's
in
right.
both
April's
movies.
Right. They do, but the Knocked Up one is a deleted scene. There you go.
And they're driving, maybe? Is
Yeah,
it
they're
when they're on the way
driving.
to Vegas? See, I know.
Wait. So, okay. What was the spin-off with Paul Rudd and Leslie Mann?
That's
It's not a spin-off.
This is
It is
40.
a biography of Judd Apatow's life.
But
This
aren't
is
they
40.
like the same characters from?
I believe so, yeah.
From
Are
Knocked Up?
they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because
Have
they
you
have
guys seen that movie?
No, I
No.
refuse. Again, this is towards the
looks-
end.
it looks
Don't you
insufferable.
hate when you run your own record company and you spend $500,000 on a big neon sign?
Yeah.
Oh,
Isn't
yeah.
life terrible?
Yeah, this is like, yeah.
But
So
yeah,
When did you guys go cold on Judd Apatow?
I think
well,
it's when
I
he s-
hated funny people.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
funny
say
people.
that.
I like funny people for half of it, like most people.
But yeah, I think it was around like year one, even though I get
half of it, so like an hour and a half.
Yes, exactly. No, more like 2.5 hours.
I found funny people to be very off-putting and kind of misogynistic, but I would have to go back. Like, I don't
Isn't
really
it
remember.
wild that like when Judd Apatow started to make his films more and more personal,
Yeah.
what ends up happening is you're like, oh, you are completely disconnected
Yeah.
from any regular human being,
Yeah.
and you have no perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
I know, and I do he was funny. Like he was talented. Didn't he work on the Larry Sanders Show?
Yeah, he
Oh,
did.
probably. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's a big name like in comedy, and it's just but for a while there that was kind of all we could get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really liked This Is the End, but
Yeah.
it's
Oh, yeah,
that was
basically
fun.
like all the actors are like, I hate you, and then after that they completely disbanded from each other and were like, okay, I can't make any more of these movies.
I think the difference is that, like, if you look at 40-Year-Old Virgin and Knocked Up, those are all about, like, poor people. and making jokes, which is maybe how Judd Apatow, who wasn't that at the time, could relate to. But when he started to be like, I'm going to make movies about rich people, like The Bubble, you're like, oh no.
Well, it's kind of like Adam Sandler movies now. It's like
Yes.
he's always like some multimillionaire in a gigantic mansion.
Well, Judd Apatow and Adam Sandler were besties back in the
Yeah.
day. I believe like maybe they shared a apartment together.
Yeah, I think they were. Were they roommates or neighbors or something?
Adam Sandler
Yeah.
lived in his, Judd Apatow's guest house in the back by his third pool.
Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
just looking here. Like Judd Apatow as a producer, like he gave us Bridesmaids, which arguably started
That's
a whole
great.
other kind of wave.
Yeah,
of
I
things.
liked Bridesmaids a lot.
I'm looking here. Pop Star Never Stopping. He's the one who was behind that as well. To like get
That was
make it get
good,
made.
too.
The Big Sick. He gave
that
us
was
Girls.
good too. Yeah,
Girls. We all
Yeah,
remember Girls, right?
Yes. But
He's done a lot of great
Yeah,
stuff.
and
Yeah.
he tries to raise up
Yep.
like different voices as well, but just him as a main creative force, not good. That comedy got old real fast.
I would say it was good, but it
Yeah.
got stale.
That's
you
what I
know?
mean. It got stale.
Yeah.
Very
but there's
much
like
so.
limits to that.
This was like the tail end, I feel, of that. This whole movie feels like
It feels like they're like
Just worn out
"Can-
his
Do we
welcome."
have one more left?
Yeah.
Let's kind of
This came
try
out
It. Yeah.
the same year as Funny People.
oh,
So this was like
oh.
a death knell.
Yeah.
But it also came out the year after Pineapple Express, another big hit, another
yeah,
kind
I
of
forgot about
variation of
that
that.
Yeah.
Gave us cursed David Gordon Green with the career he has now.
Yeah, which I liked Pineapple Express at the time. So
Oh, yeah,
so
very
yeah,
fun.
this isn't necessarily I think the death knell, but it's getting towards that. And
It's-
this
yeah.
was I think panned by everybody.
Yeah, it's like a
everyone
joke.
was like, "What the fuck is this?"
kind of worn out its welcome.
It's a
at
joke
this
that's
point.
not funny.
Yeah.
which is
And it was
bad.
also like an attempt to elevate Harold Ramis into
Yeah.
like a big budget, like finally, the king of comedy himself, the man behind the first half of Stripes, the part we remember, and he directed Analyze This and Analyze That. And
I
then-
didn't know
He
that.
did Groundhog Day.
yeah, Bedazzled.
Caddyshack. He's done well. He did
I like that Bedazzled.
Caddyshack,
Oh.
Vacation, and Groundhog Day.
That Bedazzled with
classics.
Brendan Fraser is
Oh.
funny, dude.
I saw that for my birthday. What a disappointing birthday that was.
But yeah, he's kind of more of an old school comedy guy.
Yeah.
So it's kind of also what I kept thinking of during this movie was Mel Brooks movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
With the
But
that kind of
100%.
not as
funny.
funny, if you will.
No,
No,
it's a
unfortunately.
wannabe Mel Brooks / like Monty Python kind of historical comedy.
Yeah, which
you know?
is maybe that's a part of the reason why it didn't work because it didn't feel fresh. I suppose.
No, there's just no jokes.
Well, so
there's
supposedly the
no
year one
jokes.
script. What are you, me? I always say that. My friend Peter's always yelling at me. He's like, "There's jokes, you just don't like them." And I'm like, supposedly the year one script was like very like heralded. Like people loved the screenplay.
was it on like the blacklist or something?
Probably. I'm
It's
gonna
so
look
weird.
here.
It just feels
Year
like
one.
it's from another era.
It's
There
funny
has never
because-
been a good blacklist movie.
I
And
know.
If you find one,
They all
I don't want to hear
suck.
about it. I mean, Flight Risk. We all love it.
Passengers, of course.
Ugh.
Mute.
The Imitation Game.
That movie's boring.
But
Yep.
It's so weird, but I remember being really excited when this movie was coming out. I'm like, wow.
Year one?
Harold Ramis. Holy
Yeah.
shit. Jack
Jack
Black.
Black. We
Well-
can't get enough of him.
I was a dumb 20-year-old, so
Yeah.
I
It'd
be a
didn't.
while.
I didn't know that Harold. I probably barely even knew who Harold Ramis was. I didn't know that he directed this. I think until Joe Ramone released a video about it,
Yeah.
talking about how unfortunate it was that it was his last movie.
I was like more
it wasn't too
does-
good.
excited
Does
because it
Joe
was like,
Ramone
oh, Michael
come pro or
Cera.
con on this movie?
I think he's like, I wish it was better.
Oh,
yeah.
I can't remember if it was a it's not as bad as you think it is video,
No,
or if it
it
is
can't
as
be
bad
that.
as you think. I can't remember.
Like there's
And I just gotta say, I hate that whenever anyone mentions Harold Ramis, all I can think of is his stupid ghost visage in those afterlife movie.
Everyone
That's what I think
creative
of.
on that should be thrown in jail.
maybe he was like halfway to CGI at this point. He's turning into it. And like
You
he's
think
lost
Jason
his
Reitman,
mojo.
like anyone told him, please do not put a CGI Harold Ramis. The one joke everyone made when they heard that this movie was being made.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, don't do this. And he went, no one can tell me anything. Do whatever I want.
Well, Harold Ramis cameo in Knocked Up, if you remember.
I
You
do.
were saying
Yeah.
cameoed in Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah, that's a cameo. Right?
Yeah, against his will.
Yeah.
Speaking of cameos, they should reuse that CG Harold Ramis to do cameos.
Why did he just star in movies? Like, look
Harold
at another
Ramis?
Ghostbusters film. Yeah.
he did.
I think he was
CGI
more
Harold
of a
Ramis.
behind the
He
scenes.
was like a reluctant actor. I remember when
he
he came
was.
onto
Overall,
SCTV, he was more of a writer and then had to be really like pushed in front of the camera.
Oh, so he was on camera on SC
Oh yeah.
TV? I didn't know.
Yeah, yeah. But I think reluctantly. I don't think it was like his first kind of passion was like acting. So yeah, he was a writer and they were kind of like, hey, you're funny.
His movie, The Ice Harvest, great movie if you haven't seen it.
The Ice Harvest.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, film noir, John Cusack, Billy Bob Thornton, excellent. I think
I'm
it's the one
thinking
he
of
made
The Ice Storm by Ang Lee.
No, not that one. It was the one that he made right before as a director. This one, I think. And it was a very small release. Bill Murray was supposed to have a role in it, and instead it went to Randy Quaid. Took
Harold Ramis, he seems like such a jovial, nice guy.
Yeah.
Like when you see him on set in this, and even during the bloopers, he's just like he feels like like your dad. Like, and I'm sure that he was a joy to work with.
Yeah.
So I'm not
I'm
surprised
sure
that he was
everyone
upset that
on
this
set
failed.
of year one had fun.
Exactly. And this is a movie that has, all of your comedy staples with people that you've seen
Oh, yeah,
in
everybody's
comedies
in it.
at the time.
I mean, you can just tell by the bloopers in the end credits that they were having a blast.
These are the worst bloopers I've ever seen.
I
And I
ha-
love
yeah.
bloopers.
Bloopers, I'm like, okay, this is like cheating. They kind of like, leave you laughing, and your impression of the movie leaving the theater is like, that was funny.
Not here.
Not here.
The bloopers, like at the end of like Deadpool and Wolverine, were funnier than this.
This
But
is
they
like,
had like 20 years of movies though to pull from.
these are so bad. Like they're like anti-bloopers.
Well, you know how movies will sometimes kind of have fake bloopers where they're
Yeah.
like just joshing around. This isn't even that.
No.
It's like,
It's
I
like the
messed up
beginning
my
and ending
line.
of scenes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
It's like Jack Black fighting with a snake.
Yeah. Also, before we get into the plot, I want to talk a little bit about Michael Cera and Jack Black, who, as we said, unfortunately don't
April's
have chemistry.
gonna roast them.
They don't have chemistry. No. This is what I'll say. First of all, the poster is just each of them like doing like their thing. So Jack Black is doing the, one eyebrow up, mischievous smile, DreamWorks face. That's him. And Michael Cera is his clueless, I don't
Like,
want to
what's
be, I don't
going
want to
on?
be here face. And that was what they were doing at the time. Jack Black continued to do that. Michael Cera has had to adjust his career a little bit because he had his moment. He was starring in rom-coms for a while.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these Apatow people were. Jason Segel had that period too, where he was a male lead in romantic comedies.
Yeah.
Like Michael Cera was in like Youth in Revolt and stuff like that.
what a terrible
nobody-
movie.
But so he had his moment and he was big. But now he's kind of just playing like smaller roles in movies. He was in Barbie, but he's like kind of like had to adjust and he can't just do the same thing. I loved him when I like it when he shows up in things playing to his strengths, like that episode of Black Mirror and Dream Scenario. Great. And he's doing mostly that and like voice work now. I looked up, apparently there's going to be a Sausage Party TV show.
Oh,
thank
God.
So he's
That
in
movie
that.
sucked.
Fuck that.
And
Awful.
awful behind the scenes stuff about it. So yeah. But really my heart kind of goes out to him because he's actually very funny. He was so good on Arrested Development, right?
Yeah.
And then he got scooped up by this Apatow machine and he was successful, but now like again, he's kind of still trying to find where he fits, but I'm sure he's still doing fine.
Yeah.
Jack Black never stopped doing his Jack Black thing.
Yeah.
And I kind of can't stand him now.
It's exhausting.
Really?
Now.
Well, like him, he's going to be in the Minecraft movie and he's in the Christmas movie and his
I love that
everything he's
Minecraft
in.
movie trailer because it looked like he just showed up like Harrison Ford on the Blade Runner
did.
sequel, whatever he was wearing.
He
He's like,
knows
this is what I'm doing.
He knows what works, and good for him to be making a paycheck. But I'm
Yeah.
tired of his shtick
Well,
at this point.
He kind of went away for a while. Like,
Yeah.
He wasn't really in movies.
Yeah, he was doing the music thing probably for a while,
I
touring.
guess.
Well, not anymore after throwing his partner to the flames.
Didn't they reconcile?
Did they reconcile?
probably.
I think they did.
Kyle quit the band.
But no, I mean, I love Jack Black, and I think I think
I
he's
do
had an
too.
interesting career. But like, just to see him, it reminds me of The Rock. It's just like you're just doing the same thing in every movie, and you're just there for a paycheck, and you're in front of a green screen, and it's just like, blah.
I mean, Jack Black, like he he did try to do a bunch of dramatic stuff. Remember, he was in that Richard Linklater
earlier
movie?
in his career, right?
He was in Polka King. No, recently. You just haven't heard them.
Oh, yeah,
because
Polka
they're
King, right.
Streaming movie.
Bernie, was that the Linklater?
Bernie.
That's right.
That's what I'm saying. I think that
He was
I know what I'm talking about. I think he should push himself to do more dramatic or just interesting roles.
Yeah.
You know, he has the ability.
You know, he did.
that's
He was
right.
he was in that
Jumanji.
drama, King Kong, Peter Jackson's
Yes.
King Kong,
yeah.
playing against type.
He was in Goosebumps. He was
At the house with the clock in
That's
its
what I'm
walls.
saying. He's doing these big box movies I don't like Jumanji or whatever, that are just generic and boring.
He did the worst movie I saw last year, Dear Santa.
I've heard of
Oh,
this
no.
terrible,
movie?
terrible
Yeah, it's
movie.
real bad.
Oh, is that where he's like the devil or something? It's
yeah,
like
he's
Dear
the devil.
Dear Satan or something.
Sorry,
Yeah.
someone wrote a comment on my review on Letterboxd, and they wrote, "Man, do you ever have fun?"
Because you didn't like Dear Santa.
Comments are turned off on Letterboxd. Thank you very much.
But anyway, Jack Black and Michael Cera in this are both doing their own shtick, and it could work, but just it doesn't work here.
It doesn't
for whatever
gel.
reason. They're not playing off each other.
No, their chemistry is
well,
completely wrong.
which is
here.
unfortunate because I feel like just with a different pairing could have worked.
Yeah, I just
know?
I don't know. I was saying like Jonah Hill or something.
Or who's the Eastbound and Down guy? Maybe get him in there.
Danny McBride.
Yeah, Danny McBride and
Well, I
Michael
have a
Cera.
little movie for you, April, called Your Highness.
Yeah.
A movie that's also bad.
I kind of thought I've thought about doing that for the podcast.
That's a sexist movie. Anyway.
What's wrong with being sexy?
Yeah, that's what I said. Sexy.
But yeah, I mean, this movie, yeah, it does have jokes. They're just not super funny.
I'm looking.
But
Maybe I didn't have my glasses on, but I couldn't
this
see.
This movie wasn't torture. It did feel very long. But we're going to talk
it was
about the
only
good things.
93 minutes.
I know
long.
that's insane.
We're going to talk
Yeah.
about the good things in this movie because that's
Yeah,
and
we're
there
here.
and
There's
there
no
were
such thing as a bad movie.
There were good things.
There were some really impressive things that I will talk about later.
Okay,
but
so
People, they're this far and they're like, what's the plot of this movie? Unless you were our exact age when the film came out, you don't know what this movie is.
So the year is 1, and we start in a village of cave people.
yeah, Jack Black and Michael Cera are cavemen.
Though they
They're-
don't live in caves.
They're on a hunt. Well, I guess they're early men,
Yeah.
supposedly, but whatever. They just talk like present day Jack Black. And
Yeah,
Michael
which
Cera.
is a thing, you know. I guess you're right, like kind of like a Monty
Oh,
Python.
Michael
vibe.
Cera!
Yeah.
Yeah!
You know what the problem with the whole conceit of Jack Black and Michael Cera being out of character with what's going on is that you need to have the other people commit, and they're the silly ones. If everything is silly around them,
Yeah.
nothing is funny. That's a big issue with this film.
Pretty much everyone is not acting really except for maybe the extras of the time.
Yeah.
And it feels, and I mean, this is a Judd Apatow staple, too cheap looking. So like,
Really?
yeah, I thought it looked cheap.
Okay.
You thought it looked good?
I was going to say, like, okay, we were just talking about the gorge for our Patreon. I was really impressed with how good this movie looked compared to the gorge or any. I mean, it was like a $60 million comedy in 2009. And it was,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Shot on film,
and it
even
made,
back then.
it made my heart warm. It was like the first nighttime scene. And I was like, wow, has rim lighting.
Well,
fill lighting.
that's because you've
real
gone
sets.
insane watching movies
Real
like this.
forest.
You can see stuff. They're
Real
like,
animals.
all practical locations. They are like on sets. They're in deserts. They're in forests. There's like no green screen.
Yeah.
The effects were very, very minimal. Nothing stood
will
out.
say
There's
that.
stunts.
And I will actually say, like, wow, they got some like nice photography. Like, there's some gorgeous sunsets and like everything.
The problem-
looks. It looks.
It
It
looks-
feels high
yeah,
end.
I will agree with you. It looks better than the gorge. The issue is that like once you get to a certain location, you're just stuck there for what
Yes.
feels like an hour.
Yeah.
Well, it
and
was
you
very
just keep going back.
episodic.
It's very episodic. Yeah.
Well, let's just get out my favorite thing now, which is the costumes and the wigs. So
A
many
classic-
wigs.
They make jokes about it where it's like, hey, your hair looks nice.
yeah.
I know. But yes, they're not like they're not going to be nominated for an Oscar, these costumes, but the sheer amount of them and the amount of costume changes with it's like every we go to like, I think 5 locations, and each one, like, we get multiple costume changes. And yeah, like, honestly, I guess I'm just imagining a much, much cheaper version of this.
Yeah,
and this didn't feel cheap.
Imagine
to
a
me.
version that was done today.
Yeah.
But even like the end
awful.
set piece with like the scaffolding and stuff, like that was a full size set. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty, like, this
lot
actually
of
looks nice. They had like
animals.
a day for night kind of Mad Max nighttime scenes.
No, it was pretty cool.
Had a lot of color in it. Visually, it was like, it impressed me more because I was just comparing it to present day stuff, which
Well, now there aren't comedies. There aren't big comedies.
there don't seem to
The
be.
Rock would say differently, April.
Yeah, all right. But that's all green screen.
I know, and it's just
awful
everything
looking,
looks. I'm like, this looked better than like most Marvel movies today.
I would say
You know
I'd
what I
rather
mean?
I
watch.
mean, I will agree with you on that.
I'd rather watch this again than Red One. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen Red One because
Or-
it looks awful.
or that new Captain America or whatever the fuck, Brave New World.
but
Contractually
yeah.
obligated film. I'll give you all of those.
Yeah, okay.
But I know this complaint may sound wild to people who maybe have seen this film.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's enough cameos, and I don't
agree.
think it's silly enough. I think
Yeah,
that like
100%.
every scene should introduce you to some other like biblical figure or some old timey. It doesn't even need to be biblical. Like just mix it up. Where it's like, hey, look, we met Hercules, or something like that. It doesn't really matter. It's just a very silly
And he's
movie.
played by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's what
And
this
he's
movie
dubbed.
needed to be.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not going to be funny, then
Yes.
just sort of keep people occupied with the pacing of things.
Yeah, I think comedies now, I mean, I'm thinking of kind of that Chipmunks movie, say, for instance, or Alvin, sorry, not Chipmunks.
No, you're
Rescue
thinking of
Rangers.
Chip and Dale
Yeah.
Rescue Rangers.
Right,
That at least was the joke frequency was much faster.
Yeah.
This
Yes.
feels very, very languid.
Oh my god!
But it was the style at the time.
Yeah, so it's like they literally just arrive in a spot, like you said, Justin,
And they kind of riff
You were
for a
there
bit.
for a long time, and they just riff. You can just feel the improv, and it's like these.
And there's like not enough elements that keep coming in. So like Michael Cera, Jack Black are caveman. They live in caveman times. And Jack Black's always like skibbity bop doop bop. bop. You know,
There's
doing a
two
Jack
like
Black thing.
women they want to woo, and I do like
Oh, man.
that's a through line for the whole
June
movie.
Diane
Poor
Raphael.
Juno Temple.
And
Juno
Got
Temple.
nothing to do
Juno
in this
Temple
movie.
barely gets a line in this.
No,
Yeah.
I know.
June Diane's at least allowed to be funny. But yeah, I mean, I did laugh like when like at the first scene where they're like gathering and he's like trying to woo like June Diane Raphael, and he's like, I can provide for you. Look at me. Do I look like I'm starving? And I laughed.
Yeah, that's a funny
lot.
joke. That feels like a Jack Black improv.
The way he
Yeah.
said it was funny though.
Yeah,
There was
you know what? At the beginning of this movie, I was like, maybe this will get a couple laughs out of me. Like,
there was too few. Yeah.
no, and then not much after that.
Yeah.
Like Jack Black at one point like spears one of his guys, and he's like, "Oh, wait, that's not the boar. Oh, you stepped in front of it when I threw that spear. Are you sure that's my spear?"
Yeah, and
Like,
he said, I'm
that's
pretty
funny.
sure he had that spear in him when he left the village.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
actually,
said funny
there
stuff.
were a few funny things in the village scene. Like Bill Hader shows up and he's like, he's screaming at
in a role that Bill Hader would not play today.
No, no.
He's like screaming when the hut catches on fire, and he's like, "Oh, that's not my house."
Oh
Thank
my god. Oh yeah, that's not my hut. Never mind. There's it's very few and far between. There's like
Yes,
maybe half a
unfortunately,
dozen
Because
moments
like there's
where
the
I kind of
promise
chuckled.
too. Because like Michael Cera and Jack Black get exiled from their village, and they meet Cain and Abel, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait till we meet like a new character, like characters like this, played by famous people in every scene. And
Yeah.
they're like, no, that's pretty much it. You like David Cross? David Cross will be coming back over and over again. I was like, no, I don't like him that much.
Give me Paul Rudd.
Yeah,
Paul Rudd
the
getting
wrong
killed
son
right
died.
away.
David Cross is funny. Another Judd Apatow. I forgot. Walk
Yeah.
Hard, a great movie.
Yeah, there you go.
You know,
Oh yeah, that's classic.
Walk Hard does everything that this movie does
Yeah.
badly.
Apatow is also involved in The Cable Guy, which is a
Yeah.
movie very close to my heart.
Judd Apatow produced Walk Hard too. I don't know if you mentioned that.
Yeah, I know he didn't direct it, right?
I gotta
No.
watch that
No.
movie again.
That was directed by our favorite Jake Kasdan of Jumanji fame.
Really?
But yeah, Colin, we should rewatch Walk Hard because
Yeah.
I haven't seen that in like at least 10
there are
years.
still like jokes that like are quotable. Like, trust me,
That'll really
you do not want this.
That'll really wash the bad taste out of A Complete Unknown. Unknown for me. So we should.
Wait, did you watch A Complete Unknown?
Yes, we did a whole podcast about it.
I don't
last
remember if you
week.
watched it.
Yeah,
Anytime
we
we
had
end a podcast, it just like disintegrates
disappears.
from my mind. Yeah.
I wonder if they should do like a walk hard version of Complete Unknown.
Yeah, a comedy version of the Bob Dylan story. I'm sure
Well,
that.
And James Mangold was like,
here's the
"Stop
problem.
making fun of me."
Yeah, the Walk Hard is a parody of the James Mangold film.
Yeah.
Walk the Line.
Yeah.
And James Mangold's like, I don't fucking care. I'm going to come back and I'm going to make another movie like that. You can't stop me.
And it'll get nominated. James Mangold wasn't nominated for Best Director, was he?
I don't
'Cause
think so,
fuck
no.
me. No, I don't think he was.
He's a journeyman.
No, I don't
they
think
don't.
so.
They don't
But
get
anyway,
nominated.
so yeah, the whole like Cain and Abel thing, I wanted it to be funnier because, hey, I like it when a joke goes too far and then becomes funny again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The timing just fell off.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite go far enough.
No.
I agree. And
Yeah.
then they don't do that type of joke again.
No.
Yes.
You know, where it's kind of anti-comedy and then it becomes comedy again. So
It's sort of in the mid grounds.
maybe that wasn't Ramus's style.
Well,
I don't
it
know.
feels like a lot of scenes just end very abruptly and a
Yeah.
joke is set off screen. Like the movie feels incomplete.
Yeah, it's
There's
like
a lot of
when-
ADR.
It's like
Yeah.
they eat the forbidden fruit before they get banished from their village, and then Sarah is
Gets
getting
attacked by a snake.
He's getting attacked by a snake that's slowly
And it just
wrapping
cuts
around
away.
him. And then it just cuts away to them in the next scene, and it's like, oh,
You know what the issue with this movie, and it may sound ridiculous to people hearing us describe the plot. It's not silly enough.
yeah. There's like
some like somewhat silly things.
Yeah,
But
like the idea of like the forbidden fruits, the big glowing tree. That's funny, but like nothing really comes of it.
No,
unfortunately,
it's only
Yeah.
like a setup for them getting banished. But then you
Yeah.
get later on in the movie, and like, okay, Oliver Platt's kind of like, you know,
he was silly.
He's
but
kind of silly.
Before we
He's-
get there,
he's-
we're in like the Cain and Abel village
Yeah.
with Harold Ramis, and it's just these jokes are they're like sub Family Guy. It's like, oh, the
Yeah.
guy has sex with goat or sheep, and
Yeah, it's just there's too much air in the middle of the scenes. Like it just needs a good tightening.
I guess a scene where Jack Black is
they
trying
can't
to
tighten it anymore. The movie's 90 minutes
Jack,
long.
Jack Black meets a lesbian, and he is confused because he's never heard of that. I guess that could be funny, but the way that they executed it was just
It's not that
it,
funny.
it,
Yeah,
it was
it's just not
just
funny.
boring.
It's just lame.
Yeah.
And then we
know?
get to Michael Cera sleeping with like the idiot son,
I
and then
didn't
it's just
even
like
laugh at the farts.
They're farting. Yeah.
fart jokes. I'm like,
Fart
oh
jokes
no.
can work, but for whatever reason, just didn't.
Oh my god.
They mistimed the fart
I'm
joke.
like, if you can't even make a fart joke funny, that's when. Oh boy,
Well, like
something's
remember,
wrong.
like the kind of gross out comedy era. This is way after that, right? Was that more
bring
like
it
the
back. Bring it
Farrelly's
back.
kind of
Yeah.
era?
Dumb and Dumber, and then it goes
Yeah.
into American Pie, and it's
Yeah.
and then it's final Saving Silverman.
bring back like the donkey
I wish you
diarrhea
were Saving
scenes.
Silverman on this podcast.
I was like,
No, not
watching-
Saving Silverman. What is the one where Bruce Campbell puts his hand up?
Bruce Campbell. I don't know.
Uh,
Saving
it's a
Silverman
Matthew-
is the Jason Lee Tom Green movie.
Yeah, I always get both of these
Wait,
confused.
no, that's
Serving Sarah.
No, that's Saving Harvard.
Serving-
No, that's
No.
Stealing Harvard.
Stealing Harvard is the Tom Green film.
Saving Sarah Marshall. Wait, no,
No,
forgetting
Serving
Sarah.
Yeah, I was thinking of Serving Sarah, directed by Reginald Hudlin, Matthew Perry, Elizabeth Hurley, and Bruce Campbell comedy.
I remember
What?
that. I didn't realize that was a gross out comedy.
Yes, it is absolutely a gross out comedy.
Wow, my man Michael Perry. Michael
Your-
Perry.
your man, Michael
Matthew
Perry?
I can't even say his name.
His brother Michael Perry, who replaced him after unfortunately
Speaking-
died on.
Yeah. Speaking of Matthew Perry, best friends with Hank Azaria, who's in this movie.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed him because we realized halfway through he was doing the sea captain voice. So that made me laugh.
Oh, I'm bad at my job.
I don't know what I'm
Neither
doing.
man nor beast bees.
Wait, do you need someone with a indeterminate nationality? Yeah, Hank Azaria on the line.
There you go.
Yeah. So I forget who he plays, but some kind
Oh,
of
doesn't he
biblical
play-
figure.
He's the one who kills his son.
Oh God,
That's not Job.
Is it
is it?
Isaiah?
No, I don't know.
Isaiah, I think.
Something- I
Bible
can't remember. I'm
figure.
not a-
Played by
kills
Christopher
son.
Mintz-Plasse.
Yeah, it's the so it's Isaac is the son. Who is the one?
Oh, I don't
who
know.
is
I gotta tell- I know like,
Abraham.
nothing.
Abraham.
Okay.
Abraham and
yeah.
Isaac. Okay.
I know nothing.
That's a story where God is like, ha ha, psych. I just wanted to see if you were gonna kill your son.
Oh, that was like a.
But you don't have to do
It
it.
was God's favorite or whatever. We'll see.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
see
yeah.
what
So
you'll
he
do
didn't
for me.
actually kill his son.
No, because God shows up at the last second, and doesn't he? And he's like,
Don't know.
I'm just joking. Don't do it.
Well, that's ripe
crazy.
for comedy. And the funny thing is it is.
Yeah,
It could.
Isn't
work.
there like a joke where it's like, I kill him, and it's like, God wants you to do this, and he's like, come on, God, please stop me, don't make me do it.
Yeah.
Nope, they don't do that.
No.
Do you think there's a fear of being blasphemous in this movie?
I guess, but they're still referencing these things.
Yeah,
yeah. And also, like at one point, like Michael Cera says, "What if there is no God?" But then, so they kind of have like a argument about it that I kind of liked. But that's
here's
later.
the thing: there is a tree with magic fruit on it.
Yeah.
I think there is a God.
That goes
the fruit
nowhere.
is
Yeah,
glowing.
but all it did is glow. I mean, that could have been the
It didn't
sunlight.
give him anything.
It didn't do anything.
There is a kind of like somewhat funny kind of carriage chase here where they're escaping from the village and the carriage is like moving so slowly.
The people are
The
walking.
people are
by
walking
it.
faster than it.
That's
and
real. That's like sub-family.
I know, but
It was a funny visual.
It's stupid. But then like Harold Ramis is like 40 feet away, like, no, damn you. And then they like start steering off course very slowly. And he's like, no.
Do you think there's like looking at Letterboxd? There's people that like defend this movie because they saw it as children and it really stuck with them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think people defend A Million Ways to Die in the West?
Yes.
Oh, really?
I feel like any movie, if you see it young enough,
It's someone's favorite.
and you
movie.
and you
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
it, is going to be someone's favorite movie, and it's going to be.
I mean, A Million Ways to Die in the West is another one where there's like 10 jokes in this movie, and it's like 116 minutes long.
Yeah, again, I feel like that movie and this movie are kind of similar. I'm sure different people were involved. I'd rather watch this. At least this has like more actors that I like.
Seth
in it,
MacFarlane was involved in A Million Ways to Die in the West.
probably. Yeah, he stars in it.
he stars,
stars,
in it. I
wrote
swear
it,
that,
directed it.
That whole movie was made just so he could like make out with Charlize Theron.
Absolutely. No
Yeah.
contest.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, Seth MacFarlane has a perfect filmography. Million Ways to Die in the West, Ted 2.
There you go.
That is
That's
all.
it. Well, like,
That's
at
it.
least he knew when to stop.
Yeah, he said everything he has to say.
Yeah.
And like 40 albums of him singing.
Yeah, sorry, we don't talk about Seth MacFarlane enough on this because I love the idea of him trapping his entire staff so he can sing songs on his birthday.
I wanted to buy his Christmas album on our.
Which one?
I don't exactly. I wanted to buy it and then give it to our one set of friends who have a record player, but I totally forgot.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of like stuff that when you're a kid you see it, like people who talk so lovingly of post the first 3 seasons of Family Guys are so like foreign to me, but it's because I wasn't the right age, right?
Yeah, I mean, I love the first 3 seasons.
I love the
at
first 3
time.
seasons.
me too.
I remember it coming back and watching like 3 episodes and being like, this is not funny. Like, it's not the same. And
Yeah, and I mean
wish
that's the
could
thing
enjoy
about
it.
comedy, which is hard. I mean, it is subjective, and a movie like this can come out and it just fails. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's not good. Wet Hot American Summer didn't do good when it came out either.
I think it
So what April's trying to say is year
necessarily.
1.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
it's good. I'm
We
just
could-
saying if you like it,
could be someone's favorite.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like, does this have a cult status like Wet Hot American Summer? No. And I mean,
No.
so that's probably the big
Are we
issue.
going to get the 2 seasons of a year 1 Netflix series?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
But yeah, like also like I think this really kind of had a negative impact on like say like Michael Cera's image.
Oh, wait, do
'Cause
you
you're just,
remember
like, you're
that-
still doing this?
Do you remember that History of the World show that was on?
Yes,
Yes.
it came out.
What was it
I think it
on?
was an
Prime?
Was it Apple?
Netflix, right? Oh, or was it
Maybe it was
Showtime or
Netflix.
so, I don't know, or HBO maybe.
Yeah. History of the World Part 2.
Yeah, we tried watching it. We could not get through like
We couldn't
an
get
episode.
through one episode.
It was so bad.
Who made it?
Weren't the episodes
That was
even
Mel
short?
Brooks.
Oh, it was a Disney show. It was a Hulu show.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Hulu. Yeah. So that was like this type of humor, and that also felt like there like weren't jokes.
Just really bad.
Like I can't believe like this movie made me think like, wow, like Ridiculous 6 was better than this. I'm sorry, but it was.
Didn't I come out pro Ridiculous 6?
Yeah,
Nah,
I
pro's a strong
fucking
word.
hated Ridiculous 6. But I feel like that had funnier moments in it.
Oh, do you know who roasted me for not liking a movie? Matt Farley had a long conversation.
Oh, about
he's
Jack
like,
and
Jack
Jill?
and Jill is great.
I know, we saw him
And
later
then-
that day, and he was like, I'm glad you guys liked it, because Justin didn't like it.
Yeah, he was-
And then I'd be like, do you like this Adam Sandler film? He's like, no. How about this one? No. How about this one? No.
Yeah, and I mean, I was thinking when I picked this, I was like, like, oh, well, we haven't done like a comedy in a while. We did a whole summer
Still
of
waiting.
comedies. So
Oh, wait, a Sandman
wrong.
summer,
Yeah,
right?
clearly I'm wrong.
Well, comedies. We're putting that in air quotes, shall we?
But yeah, I mean, sometimes it's nice to do something a little different. But again, what am I saying? We did a whole summer of bad comedies, but this is an Apatow joint.
Hey, summer's coming up. Sandman summer.
Hey,
Yeah.
but this is this is from an OG comedy director, writer.
Yeah, I mean, what if we
Yeah.
did like a themed summer that was like another like bad comedy.
How about we do the dog
Dynasty.
days of summer? All dog movies.
I mean, there's so many. But they're all going to be kid movies, though.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, they
kid
are.
movies
Not
are
necessarily.
annoying.
What about the one where they swear? The dog.
Yeah, what
Oh,
about that?
God.
Yeah, the one that came out recently where
I think
it's like
Seth
voiced
Rogen
by like
was in
What was that called?
Yeah, Seth Rogen.
Bad dogs. or
Bad
something?
Dogs.
Yeah, okay, it has potential. Well, thank God it's the winter.
No,
right now.
Strays. Strays. is what it
And then
was
we could
called.
do that Harrison Ford one where he talks to the CG dog.
Oh, Call the Wild.
yeah.
That movie's
Oh.
insane.
We can do the Will Arnett Show Dogs movie where the ending was so offensive that they actually cut it before it was released
Was it
to
like
home video.
sexual assault or something?
Yeah, so basically the Will Arnett movie, what was it? I think it was called just Show Dogs.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the plots in the film is that the dogs get inspected at the dog show, like their testicles, and the dog has to go to his happy place when that happens.
Oh.
And people
Yeah.
pointed out that like if this is a kids movie, if kids see this and they get like sexually abused, they think that they're gonna have to sit through it.
Yeah.
And just
It's an
like get
off-color
through it.
joke, yeah.
Yeah. Well, they cut out the whole climax of the movie. I don't know what the
Climax?
actual
Oh.
Okay, well,
Yeah, it's a
it
climax.
sounds like we have a lot of potentials.
the dog days of summer.
Yeah.
for things
okay.
that are not. I was just thinking, I don't want to watch like 10 Air Bud movies, you know.
No,
or
no,
whatever.
no.
Yeah, but what about the skiing movie Hot Dog? Would that count?
That counts.
Sure.
Dogs in the title.
Sweet.
Yep.
I've always been curious about the Tim Allen Shaggy Dog as well.
Oh, there's so much we could do.
What about, I love somebody posted the clip from the original Shaggy Dog back in like the 70s, and it was like where the dog is escaping and then turns into a man in a fursuit, and then he
Yeah, I
like
think
I mean, we could do an original Shaggy
yeah,
Dog
he like
too.
he like punches somebody and then like jumps out a
oh
window.
yeah, that's a clip that always goes out. He like jumps down and like drives a car
Oh,
away.
it's
yeah,
so
but
funny.
that's not a bad
I mean,
movie.
we could do a whole episode just on the poster of the Shaggy Dog.
Yeah.
where it's like
I know.
a dog with Tim Allen's eyes.
See,
It's
Oh,
it's frightening.
the tagline is great. It's "Raise the Wolf."
Raise the Woof. What was that dog movie that we did where the dogs talk? Oh, Marmaduke.
we did Marmaduke, and then we
Wasn't that
did
bad.
and then we did Chomps.
Chomps. That's
yeah,
that's
that was a long
way
time
old.
ago.
Anyway, okay, so we
Get back to the
Okay,
plot.
the plot is we're at Sodom and Gomorrah, which I
Well-
now learned are cities.
They're what?
I didn't know.
You didn't know that?
Didn't know what that was.
Well, first they're captured by Vinnie Jones. He shows up and like captures them all as slaves.
and then he takes them to the cities.
yeah, he takes they escape, Michael Cera and Jack Black, and then so they all get taken to Sodom, I guess.
This is all like his friends from the village that
Yeah,
get
Juno
burnt
Temple,
down.
June
Jack
Van
Black burnt it
Rayfield.
down.
So they, I guess, meet up with Dave Cross and McLovin, and then Dave
His name's
Cross.
Christopher Mintz, please.
Oh, whatever.
Show some respect.
Sorry, you put some respect on his name.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have to. I guess David Cross is in with Vinnie Jones now in Sodom.
Yeah.
Side note, I have a commercial that Christopher Mintz did on my color reel.
Was it what was it for?
Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Poor guy.
So, he's a celebrity that I colored something for. Isn't that great?
What-
And it wasn't even
wait-
for the spot, it was for the director's cut.
What do you think Christopher Mintz-Plasse is doing now?
Right
Oh wait,
now?
so he's not even in the spot? He's just
No, he's in it. He's in it.
Okay.
He's talking.
I thought he got
he's
like cut
talking to
out.
camera.
Right now,
I want him to have like a DTV career where he's like doing action movies and stuff.
Oh yeah,
I've-
he shows up as like the bad guy. Or
I mean,
something.
I've
Yeah.
liked him in smaller things he's done since. I mean, he's another actor I think that had trouble finding work.
Yeah.
He was good in Promising Young Woman, but he was just in one scene.
Yeah, he was briefly in The Disaster Artist. He does voices like in How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh, that's right.
And-
he feels like he should be on like I don't know,
He's-
Mythic Quest or
I
something.
bet that he
Yeah.
is a mostly voice actor now. He's got a distinct voice.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think he stars in a TV show that has like 9 seasons on Apple Plus?
I'm thinking no.
It's like The Goofball or something.
Well, my
Sorry, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, the goofball.
My
Uh-oh.
friend was on set during this commercial I'm talking about, and apparently he very much resented being called McLovin.
Oh no.
So
Wait, that must happen to him every day.
Oh, yeah.
that's what he's famous for.
Was he like, don't you fucking call
I
me
don't know.
McLovin?
I don't know, but maybe.
He like slapped your friend.
Yeah.
How dare you? He's like Mike Myers. He's like, don't make eye contact.
Oh,
with
God.
Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
Oh, we should do Cat in the Hat at some point.
No.
Right?
No, absolutely. I did it for my other podcast.
Oh, come on.
The real challenge.
It's either
is-
that or The Love Guru.
Well, I did this also for Important Cinema Club, movie 43.
Oh,
and I gotta say,
that's on my list.
pretty funny.
Okay.
We
I
watched
gotta say-
half of that one night, and we were laughing. We were laughing. No, I think that's too good for this podcast.
Is
but let's just watch it.
Let's just watch it to laugh. Yeah, so they get to Sodom. Not many big jokes other than
No.
I'm not gay that pop up here.
Yeah,
There's
Oliver
over and
Platt
over
is
again.
like a effeminate high priest. I mean, his outfit is
It's kind of ridiculous. It's fun.
just the crown alone is quite funny.
And he knows what he's in. Kyle Gass shows up as like
Yeah.
a eunuch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who are the other people? They weren't like comedy people.
the
right?
king
I
is
kinda
like
We have Xander Berkeley as the
Berkeley.
king. We have Olivia Wilde.
Olivia Wilde is not really a comedy actress. She's
No.
done
No.
comedy, but she's more of a dramatic, and now she's a director. What did she just direct? Something big, right? I know she did
Don't
Booksmart.
Worry, Darling.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
Don't worry, darling.
Something big, something.
What she
not
directed
right.
was the confrontation between the One Direction guy and
Yeah.
Chris Pine, where it looks like he spit on
Harry
him when he was sitting
Styles.
down. Did you guys watch that clip?
Yeah,
Love
I
that
did.
clip
Yeah.
so much.
She got served on stage by
and to
Jason
the left.
Sudeikis.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I don't think I've actually seen the clip.
Okay.
But
Of what?
I have better things to do with my life than
No, it's-
No.
It was
You
Chris
got to watch
Pine.
this clip. It was Chris Pine. It's Harry Styles like leans over and it looks like Chris Pine kind of like looks down in his lap and is like, oh my God, and like looks back up.
But it never happened.
But yet, from
never-
what
never
I
happened.
heard, they deny that.
yeah, they came out after and they're like, what?
Yeah, it probably wasn't that, but it looks like that.
it's
That's
funny.
oh yeah, Spitgate. Here we go. Harry did not spit on me.
of course.
Back into the
He would say that.
Don't worry, darling was not a terrible movie. I'm just gonna
No.
say that.
Never saw it.
Could have been better.
Never.
didn't see it. We
Jonathan Frakes.
after we recorded that, I went onto YouTube and I was like watching the supercut of him, like his intro.
Jonathan Frakes.
Yeah, just his intros on that show. It's really funny. Have you ever visited the Chinatown of a major city? It's like, would you
Why are
put
you
this?
asking us
Would you
that?
put this bull skull on your wall as a trophy? It's like what?
All right, get back to this movie.
Yeah, so there's like a big orgy scene. They paint Michael Cera gold, which is fun. And I mean,
Is it? It's not even that funny.
It goes on for so
looked
long.
kinda cool.
This whole
I
like,
bet you it was really uncomfortable.
this whole sequence goes on for so.
It does go
long.
on too long, and then like there's like this special room that apparently God lives in or whatever, and of course we didn't really mention this, but
The holiest of holies.
Jack Black pronounces himself the chosen one throughout this whole movie because he ate the fruit, and so like he goes in, and then him and Michael Cera have a discussion about God, which is kind of interesting, not funny at all, and then they're gonna get thrown into the big pit, which by the way they built like a big styrofoam bowl mouth.
Yeah,
Pretty
looked
cool.
good. Good set.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's what $60 million buys
there you go.
Yeah, and so then they're like, okay, there's kind of a funny scene where they're gonna get stoned, and
But that the scene where they go into the holy room is kind of like the definition of the whole movie. Where like can't wait to see what this big joke. Oh, nothing. It's just nothing.
Isn't he just praying
There's
to
no
God
joke.
for like
yeah,
Yeah, he just prays to God.
to
That's it.
bang like June Dang?
Well, like, can you imagine what this script is? Like, were they just like scene here,
then let 'em
scene here,
riff.
scene here? Yeah, we're just not gonna write jokes.
Maybe
we're just gonna
A-
have this funny people.
Maybe
make stuff
Apatow
up.
was like, Harold Ramis is like, Judd, we got to write a script with jokes, and he's like, trust me, man, That's
don't.
not how I make my movies.
I think that the giant pile of money I sleep on every night would say differently.
which like
We're just gonna riff.
which
baby.
movie do you think of the Apatows is like the most like improv-y? I feel like it's
know.
knocked up because it's like every scene is like people kind of just talking about random stuff. Like, what movie did you see lately? Like, I'm not saying this is necessarily a bad thing, but
it feels like it here. It feels like, improv is not easy to do, and you can just
they have
feel...
to do historically accurate improv.
You just...
They do not need to do historically.
I'm just saying they
accurate
can't talk about
improv.
Spider-Man.
It's like
April-
Judd Apatow's like, close it down.
Yeah, April
This
told
is
me
not the
at
correct
the beginning of this movie, April says, I'm starting to think this is not historically accurate. And after Jack Black is like, oh, yeah,
Hippity-bop.
hippity-boo-bop.
But yeah, so what's the scene where they're like, we should choose who stones us, and who do they point at?
That's kind of
before the
it's,
child.
It's a child.
Yeah, but what's it before that? There's someone else.
This, I don't know, some man.
Oh, it was Kyle Gass.
Yeah,
He throws his testicles.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not even like it's not even that funny. He's like, oh, a kid. I mean, the good movie that did that was Kung Fu Hustle, where Stephen Chow's like, that guy, and then the guy like stands up and he's like 9 feet tall. It's like, that weak little guy, and then the guy steps out from the back and he has huge muscles. Like, you need to elevate the joke. I mean,
the
movie
joke
doesn't
is
do
the
this.
kid when he starts throwing it, he's like really
He's
good.
actually
And he's
really
like, God,
strong,
Jesus
but-
Christ, the kid's got an arm.
And so then they convince them to be slaves instead, and then there's this little like interlude where they're like building, I guess, a pyramid or whatever. That's what that is.
He's in like a ship.
Paul,
Yeah.
Paul
with
Scheer
Paul
shows
Scheer.
up, who shows up very late to this movie. Who's
How
just
did this get made?
He's just he's just happy to be here.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I traveled with June, my wife, so
Yeah,
I'm here. Use me.
But like,
Oh yeah, that is his wife, isn't it?
yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I'm giving it points for at least kind of having like a through line plot. Like at the end, all the villagers who hated them, they like them now because he tried to save them, I guess, and they kind of band together to take down the evil people, the
Yeah.
evil oppressors.
He starts a riot because
There's a
they're,
big
they're about to
muscly
be
guy
murdered. Yeah, and it's
we
like,
didn't
hey,
mention.
how did I survive the room, the holiest of holies room? It's
Well,
like,
I want to
because
say
I'm
what
the
my
chosen
favorite thing, because we skipped over it. It's when Michael Cera pees on himself 'cause he's upside down.
I wish I could like that, but instead I was disgusted.
He's upside down.
Or aroused.
He's like-
one or the other.
I felt really bad for Michael Cera because how long was he upside down?
Well, I was looking at it. I don't think he was upside down. They probably built a thing on like the floor and just turned the camera to make it
Oh,
look
and just like
upside down.
squirted
Yeah.
the piss up into his
Yeah.
nose.
Yeah. No, maybe they did like one of the shots upside
I'm
down.
sure at least
but for
one
the
was
majority,
like
they
that,
wouldn't
yeah.
have kept him upside down that long.
No
Yeah.
way. Well, I think maybe if there was wide shots that they had a stunt double. I don't want a stunt double
Do you think
being
they
upside
just
down
like
either.
just like left him up there and went for lunch and forgot?
The classic bit.
yeah. They do that to McLovin, but not Michael Cera.
No. How dare you? He will destroy you.
But yeah, then like they throw the priest into the fire, and I don't know what happens to the king.
The king is stabbed by all of his guards. They turn on
Oh
him.
right. Okay. So good.
So now-
we mentioned a big scaffolding falls over, and it did look real.
Yeah, that was a good set
Yeah.
piece. It was like a kind of live action, like he's in like a cart going down the
Yeah.
thing. Looks like a little Donkey Kong setup almost,
There are stunts in this.
Yeah.
Which is we needed more, way more. Like
There
if you're gonna
are
do like
stunts in this.
if you're gonna do like slapstick, like really do it. It's like just a couple here and there.
Yeah.
So
It doesn't find its way. It doesn't know what type of comedy it's really going for.
exactly,
It's just,
that's
it's just
exactly
nothing. It's just
that's
bland.
it doesn't it doesn't go too far in any direction. So it's just middle, and it's the definition of mid. This is worse than mid, I think, probably.
Yeah,
No, definitely.
just bland. So everybody's happy, and then Juno Temple gets with Michael Cera. June Diane gets with Jack Black.
They go their separate ways at the end.
One's gonna like travel the world. One's gonna do whatever. blah,
Michael
blah, blah.
Cera's
back to the
gonna go
village.
back to the village and run it.
Yeah. And now, as if you're not laughing hard enough,
The bloopers we teased at the beginning.
Yeah.
the bloopers come.
They barely qualify.
And I'm like,
as
okay, this is
bloopers.
cheating. You're gonna like these are gonna be funnier than any of the jokes in the movie. Nope, they're it's like
They're
flatline.
sorry excuse. Oh, we didn't mention the font is papyrus.
Oh, it's
Oh, I thought about that. I wrote it in my notes at the beginning. It's like, oh no.
That was kind of funny. just
Papyrus?
seeing papyrus is funny, and I can't believe that James Cameron is still using that. I guess he's like, well, it's the Avatar font. I have
No,
to.
they changed it on Avatar too.
What? I
Did
thought
they?
he
Yeah.
still had it.
No, there's a whole sketch about it that they changed it.
Oh.
They did a sequel sketch.
That's
They
right.
did.
That's
So
what the
they
SNL
actually
virus
did
did.
change it. Yeah.
They did change
Well, he
it,
should bring
yeah.
it back for a
For Avatar
Feast of
3,
Fire or whatever it's going to be called.
I'm surprised he didn't like
Eat some ash.
just buy the font rights and convince them to change it to Avatar.
Yeah, call it Avatar instead of
The
Papyrus.
Avatar font.
I love Avatar 2. I
Ah.
lied. I love it.
Who doesn't?
Spider, all my favorites.
Hope he comes back.
Every time you mention it, people say, I love Avatar 2, The Whale. Like, yeah, the movie's like 3 hours long.
Honestly,
though. Like,
I don't even need that whale. What's his name? Like
I don't know.
Paul Kuhn. Paul,
Oh yeah,
it's like a funny
yeah. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know his name.
Paklun or something.
Paul Kuhn.
whatever.
No,
Who can forget-
Payakon.
Who can forget Payakan?
Yeah, I gotta
mighty
say,
Payakon.
Yeah.
I did forget Payakon. I
Wait,
forgot
oh
he was
no,
in the
April's
movie.
coming out as an anti-Avatar?
Hey, go back to listen to our episode about that. I think that there are good things in that movie, but generally,
$2.32 billion, $320 billion.
That's how much it made.
That's how much it made, yeah.
Good
well,
Lord.
this movie cost about $60 million and it made about $63 million.
Yeah.
So it was a failure.
$2 million, $3 million bucks right in Harold Ramis's pocket, baby. That's profit.
That's how it works.
It made him a millionaire.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's obvious by what we're saying. We probably wouldn't recommend this movie, but if you wanted to watch it, it's on Netflix right now and it's leaving soon.
Yeah, February 28th.
It's leaving
Oh
next week.
no! Is that why you made us watch it? Because you're like, what's leaving Netflix?
Yeah.
I
No,
gotta get it before they
somehow-
kick it out to the back and put a bullet in its head.
Yeah. Somehow this ended up on my list.
It's too good. They can't. It's it's drawing views away from their other shows like Squid
I mean,
Game.
if you want to go down the Judd Apatow bad hole, let's not forget Drillbit Taylor.
What about you, me, and Dupree? that was before he became.
That was before,
famous.
yeah. Oh, Drillbit Taylor is the failed Judd Apatow project.
But who's in that? Is it?
Owen
Oh,
Wilson.
it is Owen Wilson. Okay.
Marmaduke himself.
Yeah.
What's the song at the end of Marmaduke? I was trying to look it up, but I can't remember.
Is it What I Like About You?
Yes.
Oh God.
What I like about you. And all the dogs are dancing.
Yeah.
Was it done by like the Smash Mouth? Was that the cover?
What I like about you. I think it probably
It might have been,
Could've
yeah.
been. But yeah, the good thing about this episode is it gave us the idea of doing a dog days of summer theme 3-month thing coming up soon.
3 months?
Well, that's how long summer is, and we only do an episode every 2 weeks. So
We can finally do that like horrifying looking Marmaduke CGI movie.
no, oh god. But yeah, so that's
I'm laughing just thinking about it.
that's year one.
I'm laughing like Sam Neill at the end of In the Mouth of Madness.
You've just you're disassociating.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you want to email the podcast, we're at nosuchthingасabadmovie@gmail.com. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Bluesky at nosuchthingpod. You can also find us on YouTube and consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/nosuchthingасabadmovie. If you're subscribed at the $5 level, you will get a mini bonus episode every 2 weeks. We just talked about the Oscars last week, so we have all our thoughts on the nominations. And next week, we're talking about Scott Derrickson's The Gorge, the brand new hit on Apple TV movie.
Everyone's talking about it.
Yes, they definitely are. So if you want to find me as well, I'm on Bluesky and Instagram.
Oh yeah,
at-
K9.
At April at Mansky.
I just sent it to college.
What, the poster for
Belushi.
K9? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, Belushi.
I'm pretty sure I saw that in theaters.
is it bad? Is it good? I don't know.
I don't know. The dog's got his
Is it
armor
bad?
on.
I think you can guess that.
Yeah.
Wow, shot by Dean Sendler, the guy who did the Road Warrior movies
Wow.
and Waterworld.
Wasn't there a
Dances with
TV
Wolves.
show, or was that Turner and Hooch?
There was probably a TV show.
I don't think
and-
there's a K9 TV show.
There's K9 like straight to video movies, and they all star Jim Belushi too as well. Oh, we can do what I talked about last episode, Poochinski.
That'll be the Patreon, I think.
Yeah.
I
'Cause
love
it's
how they
not
don't
a
even
full-
have to get like a replacement for Jim Belushi when they go straight to video.
Oh, no,
just Jim
he's on,
Belushi.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll follow you.
Yeah, okay, we'll do Poochinski in the summer. Yeah.
We should do like failed pilots, like Poochinski, and then
God.
that Adam West one.
Oh, I love. Well, that's not a fail. That's one of the
Talkwell?
funniest things ever. Yeah.
Is it
Lookwell.
Talkwell?
Look Well.
Look Well.
It's what it's called. Yeah.
That's not about dogs. Oh, you
no,
just mean
no,
let's
no.
talk about failed
pilots on the Patreon.
All right, Justin, where can the people find you?
People can find me every week on the Important Cinema Club. So check it out, Important Cinema Club. Me and Will Sloan, we talk about a new movie subject every week. And you can find me on the socials. Just my name, Justin Decloux, DECLOUX, at all the places where you're subscribed at.
Yeah.
Except for TikTok, which I don't do.
I'm laughing at this Poochinski picture.
I'm a dog.
Horrifying.
Just imagine him saying that.
You can find me on like Bluesky, Twitter, Insta, blah, blah, blah. Sergeant Zima, SGTZIMA.
Thanks for joining us. Suffering through us through year one, which I still feel like bad, like saying like, "Hey, it's not that bad," but it's not really.
Wait, you
not really
feel
that
bad
good.
about saying that it's not bad?
I don't know what I'm saying.
It's okay. He's dead now.
Oi.
He can't feel the pain anymore.
Yeah.
Well, is he? I think I've seen him recently in a movie
yeah,
a couple
right.
years
I mean,
back.
he's
I
around.
just ordered a cameo video from him the other day.
Oh, no.
Anyway, thanks for joining us. I'm April Atmansky.
I'm Justin Decloux.
Now I'm Colin Cunningham.
And remember, there's no such thing as a bad movie. I didn't know you had a Jack Black. That is also your Kurt Russell impression as well.
Yeah, because he always
It's the
goes
same thing.